Welcome back, Duelists, and the ban list is finally out. And for the players out there, I was actually at a theme park all day, so I've been kind of holding off and looking at the list until I could sit down in front of the camera and get an authentic reaction to what is going on here. And honestly, from just the cover that I'm seeing, it's going to be a banger. So without further ado, we're going to go right in to the ban list. And the first card on today's ban list, as we see with the cover photo, and again, that is how you know we're here to actually shake things up, said Konami, and we are definitely hearing that. But that is Fiend Smith's Lacrima. And that is actually insane because a lot of players were saying the Fiendsmith engine, or at least some of the cards in the Fiendsmith deck, were not going to be hit because it is such a new archetype. And Konami said, the hell with that. So get him out of here. So Fiendsmith Lacrima is now forbidden. And honestly, I don't think this is going to be a shocker to too many players. That extra damage, especially with the current time rules, was just a little too much for Konami to keep that around. And now next on the forbidden list, and guys, keep in mind, this is forbidden, is Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. And that is actually pretty epic. A lot of players were kind of assuming the Appaloosa could go another format since Rarity Collection 2 has been printing it, and as we know, Konami likes to sell the copies as best as they can. But with all the players' outrage, it is time to see it go, and honestly, it's nice to see the bow to go. It needs to be gone. It needs to be at 0 because as you saw, too many decks are kind of relying around the bow in their initial setup. And a lot of times this actually caps Nibiru out of being able to crash down onto the board because with the bow being able to prevent Nibiru, you can then just extend into multiple plays. Then next up on the list is actually Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. And this is a card many players were actually thinking would be hit a few formats ago, actually on a few ban lists, especially whenever we saw the Centurions being able to be released over in the TCG. And I guess Konami is just kind of making sure that the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity cannot be used in the future. So they're just kind of future proofing. And again, this is kind of nice seeing this done by Konami, making sure that a card cannot ruin a format before it is taken care of. And then the last card on the forbidden list, and that I'm seeing right now, is Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. And again, this is another card many players were hoping would get hit on this list, and many players must be excited because it is now definitely gone. So these are the cards that are forbidden, whether it's the Fiendsmith Lacrima, the Appaloosa, Hot Red Calamity, or even the Beatrice. And a lot of these cards were definitely problematic for the format, so it is nice to see them that they're gone. So then after the forbidden list, we're going to go over and see this is the limited, and that's a lot of cards. Oh my god. Wait a minute. That first card's actually kind of crazy. Wait a minute. Mr. Kodak, where are you at? We got an emergency. Eva is limited. Wait a minute. Okay, so Eva is limited. And for the players out there that don't know, Eva was actually forbidden. And that was actually a little bit after the Drytrons were kind of going crazy during the metagame. So Eva coming back to 1 is huge. And we're definitely going to be seeing that in the future metagames. Definitely Eva, that's nice. We're gonna have to come back over and kind of digest this a little bit. So Eva to 1. Snake Eye Ash to 1. Snake Eyes Poplar to 1. I'm going to get some multi-Ash. That's really nice. Okay, so Ash and Poplar both to 1, and honestly, that's really not that crazy. Whenever you think of how consistent the deck is, how easy it is to go into these cards, we're going to see what, if anything else did kind of get hit. That's like the real question is like, okay, Ash and Poplar out 1 is a nice start. Did we go farther? Because we saw, actually, wait, Flameburge isn't banned. Flameburge isn't banned. Okay. So, number 40, Gimmick Puppet of Strings at 1. Okay, I guess there was a combo with that for sure. For sure, I get that. And we got the number C40, Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings. All right. Again, the combos with the Gimmick Puppets, it's nice that we're seeing them address it. Branded Fusion to 1. Hey, remember all the people that were saying that was going to happen? Suck it, nerds! Oh, get it! And I'm sorry, branded players. I love Branded Fusion. It's like the best way to bring out Dragoon, which I love. But this was going to happen. I'm sorry, this was going to happen. So Branded Fusion to 1. That's actually kind of crazy. Opening of the Spirit Gates to 1. So that's a hit to you, Bell. Definitely a hit to you, Bell. Okay, that's a starter. Pot of Prosperity. Sangen Summoning. Okay, we're back on track. We're back on track. No, Pot of Prosperity, guys. It's not the way. It's not the way. That's not the right pot card to go to 1. That's not it. So Pot of Prosperity at 1. Sangen Summoning at 1. That grass looks greener. Yo, Mr. Kodak. Mr. Kodak. Yo, I have one of those. I'm selling that. That's gonna get reprinted. And Skill Drain. Now, unless there's a second limited page, that might be it. We're not sure. So this is quite a few to actually like digest. So we got Eva, Ash Poplar, numbers, branded. We got the opening, the prosperity. Branded fusion people that were yelling at me. I'll trade you for the prosperity. You know what I'm saying? Sound again, summoning. Grass looks greener. God, Reasoning and Monster Gate are on here, bro. Dude, Reasoning and Monster Gate are gonna be on here, bro. And Skill Drain. And no Flameburst Dragon. Okay. Priorities. So that is limited page. I assume we're gonna go to semi-limited, and then there's not gonna be another limited page. Semi-limited. Yo, wait a minute. That's Thunder Dragon Colossus. Okay. Yo. Blaster, Redox, Tempest, and Tidal. Back to 2, baby. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. This is what we're looking at. This is why I didn't look at it earlier. It just wouldn't be the same. So Blaster, Redox, Tempest, Tidal, semi-limited. Great start. They will be at 3 eventually. It's going to be amazing. So now this is the semi-limited list is the E-Dragon list. And here we go. So we're building this during the Worlds event, which we're streaming. Mr. Kodak is going to be streaming with me. He's going to be dueling on the side during the intermission, and we're definitely going to be testing out some E-Dragons, okay? So be checking that out this weekend. Luna Light Tiger at 2. Cool. Thunder Dragon Colossus at 2. That's really nice. And then Ivy, the World Chalice, is at 2 as well, which is, again, nice. These are kind of like, some testers to see if they can bring them back. But Blaster, Redox, Tempest, Tidal, let's be honest, it's all about them. Now, after that is Unlimited. Come on, Maxi. Come on, man. Maxi, I'm coping one last time. And, yeah, there would be the picture, let's be honest. So, the first card on here is Armageddonite for Unlimited, and this is what a lot of players were kind of assuming would happen. Armageddonite going to 3. Some players like it, some players don't. As we know, without an errata on the card, this could be detrimental into the future, but it's not right now, so who cares? Armageddonite at 3. Red Rose Dragon to 3, which is actually kind of nice. It'll be kind of nice seeing those types of combo decks re-enter into the metagame. Magispector Unicorn Kieran. All right. Okay. Interesting. Performage Plush Fire, and as we know, the card did just get an errata, so that's why we're seeing Plush Fire go straight to 3 instead of just getting unbanned to 1. It's going straight to 3. We do see Ancient Fairy Dragon going to 3, which is actually very needed right now, so that is good. The Dinglong First of the Yang Zing. So, interesting card, and again, some players were saying that that is a problematic card potentially in the future. I'm not very hip on those combos, but that's going to 3, so that's cool. And Time Seal to 3, and that's another card we've been actually mentioning in quite a few of the predictions in the past, was Time Seal going back to 3, because honestly, if you're getting killed by Time Seal, something else drastically went wrong in the game. Time Seal isn't the thing that's doing it, okay? So, it's not like old Yugioh. Wow. Okay. So, the unlimited list was a little, underwhelming, but I guess that's to be expected unless you get like 3 Maxi or something. So, we got the Armageddon Knights, Red Rose Dragon, Kieran, which is actually probably the real nice one, the Plush Fire, Ancient Fairy, Yang Zing, and Time Seal is real cool. Neat. E-Dragons are back. Thunder Dragon Colossus is actually at 2. That is nice. Under the limited list, Craziness. Eva, Snake Eyes, the Poplar. That's where we're seeing a bunch of hits to the Snake Eye deck. Honestly, these are kind of like the only hits to it, besides like, some things like the Appaloosa. Branded Fusion to 1. Opening the Spirit Gates to 1. The Spirit of Yubel's not on here, actually. That's kind of interesting. So we got the Prosperity, Song and Summoning. They're really trying to trim down on the consistency of the Tenpai Dragons. Grass is Greener is nuts. Oh, Skill Drain and Monster Gate did not get unlimited. Oh, I'm sad now. Grass looks greener is way more dangerous than those cards. That's kind of crazy. Skill Drain is at 1, which we were kind of expecting. That's why we're seeing a lot of players go into the Power Sync Stone. And then getting banned right now is the Lacrima, the Appaloosa, the King Calamity, as well as the Beatrice. And that's actually kind of interesting right there. So, yeah, that is the ban list. I think there is decent hits to here. Again, like the Appaloosa is really nice. The Beatrice, Lacrima, those are hits out of the gates. I don't think those are super heavy hits overall to the combo line, but they're hits nonetheless. I guess the Lacrima can be because that's actually putting some monsters in the grave with some names and such. And then that's like a level 6 you can summon, go to the board, go into some extra deck monsters. It's some hits right there. Okay, obviously we saw the Snake Eye Ash. We saw the Poplar both going to 1. Honestly, the Poplar wasn't too crazy. Some players were already kind of doing that. Snake Eye Ash, on the other hand, that will definitely trim down some of the consistency. But with things like the Snake still at 1, Bonfire still at 3, Wanted still at 3, as well as the Diabelistar, which honestly, a lot of that is kind of where it's at because the tins will probably be selling them. It's a lot. And when you look at the limited list, you really kind of start thinking like, man, they're going to do a bunch of stuff. But then they didn't. I'm not 100% certain. This is what a lot of people were kind of wanting all the way. I mean, I think they did a lot of hits. I'm just not sure this is as drastic as they wanted. So we'll see. We'll see how the backlash happens, or if we're going to see some more puking horse memes all over. I think Max C could save the format. But no, in all seriousness, there is actually a decent amount that they have done. I don't think they wanted to go ahead and completely kill everything in the meta. Again, we do have the 3 Wanted. We got the Diabelistar. We have the Flameburge itself still sitting at 3 again. Like, I was kind of like wondering if we were going to get 2 pages of limited with like looking how they were filled up the first limited. But then we got to semi, it's just Dragon Rulers. We got to unlimited, and just things that really shouldn't have been on the list for quite some time. So I'm not sure Konami hit things as much as some of the players would want. We're going to see how this actually does affect the Snake Eye deck overall. I think it will cut down the consistency where maybe other decks that are slightly more consistent will be able to, see their way into the metagame or be able to top their way into some of the future events, because as we know, like, yeah, some decks might be powerful, but without that consistency method going into like 12 to 16 rounds of a big tournament, that's when you start seeing, that consistency pay dividends. So again, this might affect the format in a short term. We might see other decks rise up, but overall, I don't think we saw as big of a hit to the list that a lot of players were thinking Konami were going to bring to the table. And I think that's kind of going to be not going to be seen until after the Megatins. Again, they're going to want to sell a bunch of stuff. And as we're going to be mentioning in a video coming up probably at this point in the next week or so, that I don't think a ban list is going to fix all the problems that a lot of players are kind of realizing Yu-Gi-Oh! The game does have, and are kind of bringing up some topics, whether it's pricing or just the tempo of the game, here nor there. And I don't think that one singular ban list is going to be the end-all be-all for this game. Rather, that's going to make everyone quit, or rather that's going to be fixing the game. Because again, one ban list is not going to fix the game. There's going to be a lot of stuff that they're going to have to do to kind of make players as hyped as they want to be going into the future kind of tournament seasons. But guys, that is the ban list. Do comment what your favorite thing about the list is, because there is actually a lot of stuff. And then if there is anything Konami missed, do comment that as well down below. I don't think it's as crazy as a lot of you wanted. So what did Konami miss, and what can they do in the future to make it better? Definitely let me know down below. And if you want to know how to beat some of the meta decks or the best cards to be picking up to beat them, definitely check out the videos up above. But until next time, guys, stay safe, have a good night, and suck it, nerds.